selling them too.
Hey, did they do that thing or what?
Special meeting of the Ascension Parish Council, Thursday, October 30th, will come to order. Everyone stand for the invocation, please. Heavenly Father, please guide us tonight in doing what is best for the people we represent. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Suzanne. Make note that Councilman Valentine, Councilman Thompson, and Councilman Shakespeare are absent. Now is the time to sign up with Ms. Suzanne. If you need to speak of any item on the agenda, you will be allotted 3 minutes. Item 4, our 2009 budget review. Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Cedric Grant.
Good evening, members of the council. Basically, what I'm going to do right now is a review of what we did when we presented the budget and ask for your questions or comments or any issues that you'd like to have worked between now and the introduction at the next council meeting and public hearing. What we presented last time was a $92 million budget. It's about 21.9% less than '08. The significant reductions have to do with debt service reductions as a result of the drainage payout and debt service related to the jail. A significant reduction in capital expenses from '08 when you had basically a $24 million road program that is now about $6.5 million. And the rest of it is some additional reductions we did in contract labor and acquisitions. And that's how we came to the reduced budget from 118 to 92 million four. Highlights of the budget have to do with our compensation plan, which would raise the entry level of all of our workers to $10.07 an hour. We believe that will give us a better opportunity for recruitment and retention. We also are going to level the pay plan in that plan. The fiscal impact of that is about $400,000. We are also proposing a 4% across the board pay raise, and that's another about $400,000 for a total fiscal impact of about $998,000 or 1% of the budget. To accommodate that, we engaged in some savings. One is, as I indicated to you, we reduced our dependence on contract workers and temporary labor, which in '08 was about a $1.6 million line item. We will reduce that to zero, and that will now be included in the budget as temporary workers on the parish as opposed to contract labor. We also reduced vehicle acquisitions with the fleet from approximately $2 million in '08 to $500,000, and we will do equipment leasing as opposed to purchases. The other significant new initiative in the budget is a one-time $750,000 infusion of capital for capital improvements to recreation facilities. We have about $3.8 million of unfunded mandates that are coming from the court system and the various parts of the court system. We are expecting our 25% match requirement on FEMA for the Hurricane Gustav disaster to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 million, and that's included in the budget. In the capital budget, there's a capital budget of $33 million proposed for '09. The breakdown of that basically includes a $6.5 million road program, and this is the completion of current road projects dating back to 2001. No road improvements are included in the program. And the road program debt service for 2009 is of interest to you. $1.4 million will be paid for debt service on the road program in '08, which basically is about the cost of a project. And we'll be paying that out to 2016. The jail, we have about $1 million remaining in expenses that we're going to carry over to finish off the jail. In East Ascension drainage, there will be approximately $21 million of capital improvements. And debt service in '09 is expected to be $6.8 million, which is predominantly drainage debt and the jail debt. So in summary, we've got a pretty tight budget. The expenditures reflect the increasing cost of personnel and benefits. New budget initiatives are proposed to stabilize the workforce. The capital budget finishes off the road projects that are currently in design, and the operating and capital budgets are balanced. Open for any questions you may have.
Councilman Lohr?
Not a question so much as a comment. On the compensation plan, I'm glad to see we're doing that. I think it's good for the parish workers that we are providing some kind of living wage. I know a lot of companies are looking at that. I do want to ask if there's any plans to consider in the future doing some kind of incentive-based pay, because, for example, in this case, there's a lot of folks that will just, everyone will be getting a raise to that $10.07. But what if there are some really high performers that actually deserve higher than that, and maybe some lower performers who maybe deserve less? So just want to see if, I know a lot of companies are moving to that pay for performance and trying to incentivize people to, to perform better. If there are any thoughts around doing some kind of merit-based pay?
Well, Councilman, in my experience, merit-based pay is certainly allowable, and it has to be very structured in relation to those kinds of issues. But most performance-based or incentive-based programs in public finance are not allowed by state constitution. What I found when I was in state government that worked pretty well was an employee recognition program, which allowed for, through a very formalized process of evaluating employees and people being recommended for incentives, that we could make actual cash payments to that individual if they were indeed selected. And that worked fairly successful in my time at transportation. Up to about $500 we were able to give persons on a quarterly basis as a result of good performance and it being documented. So I would strongly recommend that we consider that kind of program within the limits of the law.
Great. Excellent. Thanks.
Councilman Joseph?
Yes, Mr. Grant. My question is, and this once again is on a pay raise, are we going to implement, and I know we discussed this here, but I just want to see if we're going to let the other board members aware, put a step program in there. Based on here, you have the low and you have the high, and my concern is, basically, an employee that come here and he get hired at the lower end step, and he have a maximum. What is the time frame that he can reach the maximum? Right. Because that would give him incentive to at least know where he's going to be looking at in 5 years. Also, it would set up a program for us to at least look at our salaries for a future master plan based on what is our revenues coming in and how much we'll be spending and how many employees we'll have at those in those steps. Right.
Councilman, for sure, certainly, the plan that we are proposing gives us that kind of future ability to plan. As we've discussed, yes, we will provide you with a program that will outline steps of, let's say, between a 1 to 10 year period in these ranges what somebody would make. What I will put as a caveat on that document to you, though, is that on an annual basis, the council and the administration will have to make a decision, because either based on the funds available, we'll either be doing that step, or we will do this across the board. If the money is not available to do both, I wouldn't recommend to you that we do anything off budget. So I'm going to actually be proposing to you every year, okay, here's where we are in this plan. Okay, we can either afford this or we can afford this. Okay, it's based on what I'm seeing here and the future of our finances, the probability of proposing both across the board for the next coming years is probably unlikely. But yes, you will be able to see where people would be if we were able to fund it in subsequent years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
the floor is open to the budget.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just have a question regarding to recreation on the budget, and then I'm just I'm on page 46 of the budget. And we're at site work at parks.
Yes,
I see we got $750,000 in that area.
yes.
And what exactly is that money at the parks going to be spent on? Anyone can give me more specifics?
We're working with Recreation to determine a list of capital improvements such as fixing bathrooms, fencing, what's needed across our whole system of parks. So this is one-time capital money that we're going to invest in the park system. And the list is being developed. It's not included in the budget at this time because it was still being developed. But what the intent was to try and do some fairly noticeable upgrades to park facilities.
Yeah, and the reason I have question on that, if you turn to page 11 in the index of supplemental information, page 11, I do see recreation site work at parks, and they all listed, and they have a dollar value.
Yes.
And then I see additional, all those have a dollar value, and then they have a $750,000. But at the bottom is additional $109,000 went in there. And I'm kind of questioning on,
What page is that? What page?
page 11.
Okay. And 109 in addition to that?
Right. I mean, we do have specific things that we're going to do on, but then we have the $750,000 for various park, but then we also have additional. So the total of that going to come up to $859,000.
Yes, that's correct.
But on
On the other page, it's only listing the 750.
right.
And
I mean,
we'll make that adjustment. But yes, these. Yeah. Yes. Let me explain that to you, Councilman. What Finance, the CFO is telling me is correct. Well, we did a fairly significant administrative change in the sense that historically what had occurred is that we would put maintenance, and when I'm saying maintenance, it's not capital, okay? It's basically fixing things, okay? We put that in each department's budget, okay? And then basically charge it back based on maintenance doing it. Then we were not getting the chargebacks properly. So I've now taken all of that out and put it in maintenance, okay? The maintenance department is going to be responsible for the maintenance budget with these list of things that they are already programmed to be done in 09, and so they'll be administered by them. So that 109 will be in maintenance, okay? So that's where the difference comes in.
and I also see item 40, page 46, and I'm gonna go back to building and land. I see we have $205,000, and that acquisition. And if you look on page 11, in the back, it is for the skate park.
Skate park, yes.
Correct. Have that property have been identified, or?
As I understand
Since
it,
we
it
know
was
the
approached-
value. I'm the chairman of recreation, and I don't know anything about it.
No, I don't think the property itself has been identified. It's been identified as a project, and this is a potential cost. It's a budget. It's an expected obligation. If it doesn't occur, it doesn't get committed.
Still has to go through.
I'm just making sure that we're identifying things, and then we don't do it. I just want to make sure that they're listed, and this is a public document, and people are
Right.
going to find it. And like you say, they're going to put it out there, and we don't do it.
Well, it's certainly not my goal to put anything in this budget that I don't propose to go after and try and get done.
I have one more question, and maybe one of my fellow councilmen can help ask me, because I asked a question, and matter of fact, Mr. Lord, this is yours. I looked at the Oak Grove Center there, and I see you had a budget of $150,000, and then they amended it for $50,000 to $50,000 to carry it over to the following. Did that come through our committee?
It's basically dependent on the timing. We actually are probably going to amend this if everything goes well as far as the specs and everything. We're looking at doing right now, actually, at purchasing the equipment. We're looking at probably amending this for the next council meeting if all that flows, correctly with the timing and everything. This will be amended down to zero, to have that $150,000 spent this year, and then there'll be zero in there for next year. But it just depends on what the timing is as far as getting back to bids and getting all that done. And that's going to be coming up at the next Recreation Committee meeting and the next Finance Committee meeting. Does that answer your question?
That's your project. I just want to make sure you're aware of it.
Oh, absolutely.
I have one more, and that'll be on West Ascension drainage.
Excuse me, Councilman Joseph. Ms. Suzanne, would you make note that Councilman Shakespeare has arrived?
I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to Lighting District number 4.
Yes, sir.
Lighting District number 4, page
62.
60. And Lighting District 4, we had a problem this year with it, that we was in the negative. Currently, we're negotiating with the city of Downsonville with actually picking up the tab for 2008. And I just like the finance department, at least someone in the finance department, just basis tell how much money we are in serious need in Lighting District 4, and it is a millage. Next year, if I'm not mistaken, there we're going to be a negative around about $16,000, roughly $15,000 to $16,000.
I know we're down 8 this year.
We're 8, but based on the increase in the cost of the millage is going down. Also, the electricity is going up. Lighting District 4, we're expecting about June, July that the funds will be out, and the remaining of the year it'll have to be subsidized or something. But since it's a millage, it's a dedicated tax fund. The public going to have to make a choice on it. We're working on a solution, but right now, the only option is going back to the public and asking for a partial fee or a property fee. And I just want to let them know that these numbers in right here is just to balance the budget. But actually, District 4 is in deep trouble.
Yes, it is.
If he's finished.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have for right now.
Councilman Lambert?
Yeah, while we're on the rec, Mr. Cedric, a couple of things. Is one is contract labor. I see, we have some money in budget. I thought we was kind of eliminating some of the contract labor.
The only contract labor you should see left in recreation is referees and.
Okay, so that's contract. I didn't know if they were employed. I thought they were, when we hired them on, they were, okay, that's fine. One other thing, Special Tuesday, is it in the budget? I see
It's
alternative.
recreation.
That is alternative. I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to make sure. Thank you.
And that is going to be ran by the parish, correct?
My understanding of that is that there's a proposed cooperative endeavor agreement that's being recommended for that as a parish recreation
I had
activity.
14 over here, but I think some of that's for something else.
Anybody else?
Parish funds some.
Okay, Mr. Grant.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something.
Okay, Councilman Shakespeare.
Not any problems. I just want to thank Mr. Grant. I met with him and met with Parish President, and I think it's a lot of work is going on in the budget, and people realize that we're cutting this much at this time. I think that shows a great deal of responsibility. We appreciate that, and I think that's the right way to go. And and get our finances in order. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cedric. I would like to echo that. I know the work that went into it. I know that you've met with all the councilmen individually. A lot of hard work. And
Well,
it's a strong budget. I mean, it's cut, but it's adequate for our needs, and it's what we have to do at this time. And very good job.
Well, what I'm most proud of is the collective work of all of the staff that put it together, finance and all the departments. But
I'm not going to leave Miss Gwen and her department and everybody out either. I'm not going to do that.
But what I am pleased with is that we are able to step forward at the same time that we're holding the line.
Yeah.
I think setting this compensation plan as a baseline, doing these savings initiatives that were the relatively easy ones, as I've talked to some of you individually, this is the easy year. Okay?
Yeah.
When we get into next year, I think is when we're really going to have to be very, very careful about how we look at our finances going forward, and those are going to be the tough choices that are coming.
I guess maybe I'm talking more for myself also, but I really appreciate the time that you took with some of the ones that maybe didn't understand the budget quite as well as what we should have. I do have a little bearing on it right now, and I appreciate it. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 5 on our agenda is declaration of the Tuesday, November 4th holiday. I'll need a motion. Motion by Councilman Dennis Cullen, second by Councilman Randy Cleward. Any objection? Any discussion? Motion carries. Before we get to you, Councilman Lambert, I'd like to announce that our own Miss Kim Bro and her husband celebrate their 19th anniversary this week. Congratulations.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilman Lambert makes a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's seconded by Councilman Chris Lohr.